Hey guys, it's hot as BALLS out, so we figured we'd review the kind of movie that had people terrified to go into the water once word got out, and of course, I'm talking about Go Shark. No, I was just playing, of course, I'm talking about Mecha Shark. No, of course, I'm talking about Ice Shark. No, I'm talking about Sharktopus, Venice Beach Shark Attack, Mecha Shark versus Mega Shark, Sand Sharks, Fire Sharks, Volcano Sharks, Avalanche Sharks, Venice Beach Shark Attack.
All right. Too much. Here we go. We're going to be talking about the movie that it made us all fear to go to the beach. And we're going to talk about the 50th anniversary of the classic Jaws.
The one, the only. The one and only. Dude, now for S's and giggles, just so you know, that list is like 40 additional films. I'd even mentioned Sharknado. I was saving those. All 6 of them or 7 of them. But now we got some good responses after picking up on Lost Boys. So we were think maybe we'll spend the rest of the summer doing like retro summer movie like reviews, and Jaws 50th, literally 50 years to like this month. I think it released June 25th or something.
Yeah, right before 4th of July weekend, because it's set on 4th of July weekend.
Right. Which, given the production hell history of this movie, it's wild that they actually got that all the time out. I don't know how much you remember about kind of the backstory of this. I think it's all kind of like common knowledge. There's nothing really hidden anymore.
Yeah, it was over budget, over time. Bruce
100 days over schedule. 100 days. Not one Bruce, not 2 Bruce, all 3 sharks. They built 3 different shark models for this movie, and they all didn't work.
Yeah, well, when you're working with any type of movie that deals with water, I mean, just look how much Waterworld went over budget and was like the most expensive movie of its time.
Hundreds of millions on that.
Because things break down and it's hard to fit stuff in water.
You know what the amazing thing about Waterworld was, you know, that all didn't work out and went over budget, and they filmed that in a tank. This was shot in salt water. This is legit. Like, this is a movie shot on, under, and around actual ocean water. No wonder everything broke down all the time. Dude, I was reading some behind the scenes stuff on this. I hadn't heard this. I mean, we all know about Bruce. We all know about the Indianapolis speech and all that, you know, all that kind of stuff there. The Orca, the boat, sank twice. And they had to actually flotation barge, pull it up out of the water twice. They actually almost lost footage because a camera went down with it in one of the sinkings. I had never heard that story, but they're like, no, we recovered it. Thank God. I'm like, dude, thank God indeed. Because imagine what the cultural movie landscape would look like. Not if this had like stunk up the box office, but if it had never made it out. You know what I mean? If it had to get canceled because of overages and things like that. Like, where would movies
because
be?
It was Spielberg's second movie, for the studio to keep trusting him. You wouldn't get that trust in today's movies.
Oh, dude, done.
Not at all.
Done, shot. What do they call it? Director jail? Like, you have to go do nothing for like a decade before you come back with like a rom-com.
Yeah, it's time for you to go back and do TV for a little while.
Right, you got to go do like your version of Clerks on your own credit card, short film at like, you know, a couple of festivals in Tubi before they bring you back.
A couple of Cannes festivals.
If they even take you, like, even if they take you. But like, movies changed, not just in like the scope of what people realized was possible with some innovation. Of course, you got professionals on a level that's like legendary, building up mechanical animatronics like this. But like, movies when Jaws came out didn't have nationwide releases. Most movies didn't have TV spots as trailers. That's new to 1975. They had regional rollouts of films in like big markets, Boston, New York, Los Angeles, somewhere in Florida, I'm sure. And then it bled out to rural. You know?
Yeah, that's why to still qualify for an Academy Award, you have to have at least 10 days in either New York and in LA.
Yep.
In a theater.
So some old rules. But Jaws changed a lot of that. Like, it is the I was going to say quintessential. It's the prototypical summer blockbuster movie. Like, this was the one. The term was invented for movies from this film. You know, and that's nothing to sneeze at even 50 years later. Like, I don't know if you caught numbers, but for S's and giggles, I did. And maybe if I find a moment, I'll edit it back over this place here. But like, they shot Jaws on a budget of $9 million in 1975. and unadjusted for inflation made $490 million. That's ridiculous. If we get the calculations going, I'll put them like I said.
So I do have some calculations, but it's based from the movie prices. Remember, it was $3,000 was the reward for the death of the shark.
Yep, that was the initial offer, and then Quint wanted 10,
25, right? And then he requested 10.
Mm-hmm.
So the $3 million would be equivalent to $17,000 today, and the 10,000 would be equivalent to 59,000 today.
Oh yeah, dude, we could run a compounded calculation off of that real quick. But that's my point. It would have been funny somewhere in Amity Island if we had seen like the price of gas at like a gas station in the background. That showed. Oh, it was 75 though, so it would have still been little to us. But what was the oil crisis and all that good stuff was in the was right around that time.
It was in the 70s. Yeah,
it was in the 70s. That might have been blown up.
It was before OPEC was formed and we started shipping in Saudi oil.
Right. So it might have been a little different, but it would have still been wild to just to see that, not to see like maybe not even a 1 at the front of the price of a gallon of oil. I don't know. But we're not here to talk about oil. We're here to talk about movies, and one of the best ones I think that still holds up. I just watched it today. It still holds up, dude. It's a near perfect film. There was like one part that kind of inkled me the wrong way because it had to do with the reshoot, and then they didn't correct for a little bit of dialogue that came later. Trivia, maybe you can think about that on your back burner and see if you can figure that out as we go. But your thoughts on the movie overall as a whole? You just watched it recently, also. Did you think it held up? The story of the big city cop coming to little Amityville, Martha's Vineyard Island, and getting involved in some craziness.
Common trope in today's movie. Like, I mean, you even go to Stranger Things with Harper, where he came to a smaller town. Well, came back to a smaller town to be the sheriff after his daughter died. So, I mean, that's a common trope in movies now. It's supposed to be nice here. It's supposed to be easy.
Nothing ever happens here.
In 26 years.
When he says that, he even says that line. He's like, "There's been 25 years. There's not been a shooting or stabbing on this island." I'm like, now you get 3 shark attacks in a day.
Yeah,
punk. But I like that. It's a simple story told elegantly with no wasted time. No wasted scenes. I was surprised. I thought it was a little longer. It's only 2 hours. I thought it was a little longer for some reason, but you're never bored. Like,
no, and the tension's always there.
Dude, it starts there. Like, it opens. Everybody thinks it opens with the girl on the beach. It doesn't. It opens for 40 seconds before that with the shark eye view under the water and the theme. They jump into the Jaws part of the Jaws theme right away. It opens with that. And then it cuts to the bonfire beach party, and then that. But they get that whole ball of wax rolling in like 5 minutes. The whole thing. They're finding that girl's body 6 minutes in. Like, boom, off to the races. That's it. Crazy.
Like, boating accident. So who do you consider the true villain in this movie?
Nobody. And I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's actually one of the things I wanted to bring up early on, was doing the comparison between the movie and Peter Benchley's novel. Because there are a couple of key differences here that I think this is one of those occasions where filmmakers took a hold of source material and knew exactly what they had to change to make a superior film. Have you ever read the book?
No,
like back in the day. You never read Benchley's? I have. It's been a long time, and I did have to just kind of get it on our AI assistant and kind of get the differences between the two to jog the memory a little bit. The book, the mayor is absolutely the villain. Absolutely the villain.
I think the mayor's the villain in this. Like,
I disagree. I'll tell you why. In the book, the mayor's the villain because he's got mob connections and he's in personal danger if he doesn't keep the beaches open and pay back the loan, kind of thing. In this one here, they dump all the mob stuff and they make it like he's really just looking out for the town without giving him that specific financial interest in it. And he has that humanizing scene where he's like, "Martin, my kids were on that beach too. He was just looking out for the town." He's not that villain character becomes a thing in every water monster movie that comes out after that. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm the real estate developer. I got to do it. He's not the villain. Not in the movie.
But I mean, like the way he was, like, he wasn't getting the water himself. He should have led the people to be the first.
That was scummy. He did have his boy do that. That's a good point. Yeah. And that married couple, that was hilarious. The look they give each other, and then they look out at the water. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
The movie's
And
not
then
without its moment.
and then how he kept trying to cover it up for the beach. It's just like
he
he's
did.
the villain in this.
Dude, in the interest of the town, I can buy that because again, it wasn't he just built the new hotel over the water and was going to lose an arm and a leg. They had a town meeting where the hotel owner, the woman with the glasses, was like, "I don't think this is funny. We need to figure this shit out. We're all going under." So I mean, there were other people there that echoed his sentiment. So I can't give him full villain treatment, except for the part you literally just said. And I was like, "You're kind of a douche." Now in part 2, not that we're going to go into sequel talk big here, he's absolutely a clown villain because it's the same board of people who should just trust Martin Brody implicitly when he says it's a fucking shark, and they didn't. And he's like, "Oh, you're fired." Like, wait, what? How'd you fire me? I told you there was a shark. That happens in part 2 early, but we're talking about part 1. Dude, I got so much to talk about in this movie, but the whole point of these retro rewinds is to just gush and get out of Dodge. So give me some of your favorite parts or least favorite parts or things you hate the most. You talk to me about Jaws for a minute or so.
So the part that got to me was just like the old war story scene where they're sitting there as that first night when they're out there hunting there and they're drinking and they start showing all their different battle stars. And then it got deep.
Yeah. It went deep indeed. That Quint soliloquy is one of the most famous speeches ever committed to film. Now, the urban legend is, of course, everybody thinks he did that drunk. He did in a couple of takes, but the one they give you in the movie is a sober take that happened after the fact. I had to double check that because I wanted to myth bust. Everybody that tells you the story says Robert Shaw did that one drunk because he was drunk routinely on the set, and that's what kicked off a lot of the bad blood between him and Dreyfuss. They did not get along on the film, and Robert Shaw would knock a few back and needle him to get the better animosity going, but then sometimes he didn't have to. So did not like each other.
You could definitely tell the animosity between the two of them. But like all of them, like being trapped on the boat, he's like, you go chum it. You go chum.
You take a turn.
He said, I could take it slow forward.
It was good. Those three guys on the boat were like three perfect encapsulations of three different personality types, and it was great. And the part I love best about it is the cleverness of how they shot a lot of it, where Quint would be over here, Hooper would be over here, and Brody would be in the middle of them. And I'm like, that's a pretty good way to like look at it. He's being tugged in either direction of like what plan we should have. So then when they first encounter the shark out on the water, Robert Shaw and Dreyfuss are going one way and the other way, and Brody's in the middle, and he's bumping into both of them as they're trying to get their shit and go back and forth. And he's just like stuck. He's just like in the middle, unable to do anything. Like he's in so far over his head, but he was the guy that wanted to turn back and get the bigger boat. So when Quint smashes the radio, he's like, "You're fucking certifiable." I'm like, okay, yeah, that's what a normal guy would do. That's
but that was after he kept saying he's like, should we go get a bigger boat? Should we radio for the bigger boat?
Should we do that?
We should get the bigger
I'm gonna
boat.
call it in. Did I know? It got a little Ahab there, which I thought was great because there's a lot of character driven stuff in this movie. And speaking of character driven, the other thing that disappeared out of the book that they cut is there's actually a connection between Hooper and Brody's wife. They knew each other younger, like college era. In the book, you get more of the sense that the Brody family, or at least Ellen anyway, comes from a little bit more money. She's upper class and she kind of resents leaving New York to come to Amity. And they actually have an affair in the book, Hooper and Brody's wife. Everybody in the book is darker, a little bit more cynical, a little bit more depressing. So they altered all of that and turned it more into like, this is a decent family. Ellen's obviously into her husband. The husband obviously loves his kids. That scene at the table after he has the bad day and the kids copying his motions, that's iconic as well. I love that scene. That's a great scene. It humanizes everything going on.
Put on a performance.
Oh yeah. The younger son.
Michael, get out of the water. And then when he's crying, when the shark is in the pond, and
as all the grown-ups running by him to go get Michael and pull him up on the beach. Now, that kid did put on a clinic. Sadly, he gets eaten in part 4. I don't know why. I don't know why that kid ever went back to the island to be a cop on the water when, like, in part 3, he had moved to Texas, like northern Texas. Know what I mean? Come on now. Probably don't want to go back to the island. But still, we're not here to talk about part 4 either. The revenge.
But yeah, they all looked so young. Like Richard Dreyfuss was 28 at that time.
Yep. Almost passed on the movie
3 years before I was born.
Dude he almost passed on the movie. And the only reason Schneider was in the movie is I was reading he bumped into Spielberg at like some other party after the French Connection or something around that time. And Spielberg talked him into it. Like if he had not had that in-person meeting, like it probably wouldn't have happened. Dreyfuss initially turned it down. Like the part was offered to him and he turned it down from what I was reading. I was like, oh, okay. Like imagine that. Like the movie, think about it. The movie, how wildly different it would have been if you just swap out one of those three main actors. How crazy different a performance you would have got. You know, it might not have been the same. But
yeah, definitely it took its toll on all of them filming it, just because how long it took and all the breakdowns. We've already talked about that. But look at these, some of these traumatic shots from the movie, especially that was it with the third shark attack? Yeah, it'd be the third one because the girl was the first. No, it would be the second. It would be the second.
You're stumbling onto the trivia thing I was going to ask you about. Yeah. Oh, actually, no, you haven't yet. It depends on this right here is movie history in and of itself by itself. In 1975, this, like, getting a kid killed on screen is the ultimate in like gold-plated nutsack dice roll. Like, how is it not for 75, right? Like slashers, not giant yet. Like Halloween just came out, is just coming out. I don't remember when Halloween came
2 years later. Halloween didn't come out until 77.
Halloween 77?
I could have swore Halloween 77. Let's pull it up on the
I think Halloween. I think Halloween is before that. Because when was Star Wars?
77. That was.
Oh, I thought both of those were out a little bit earlier. But this was definitely this was 75. So maybe this does predate. But it definitely predates Nightmare. It definitely predates Friday the 13th, Chucky, Hellraiser, all that kind of stuff that comes along in the 80s, where you could have the moral talk about killing teenagers at a summer camp, like the trope. Jaws predates all of that, and right here, boom, you got a chick getting killed early on in the movie, unseen, but the brutality is there in her desperation for sure. You feel something for that. The kid in broad daylight turned people's stomachs in 75 like The Exorcist did, no doubt.
First Halloween was 78.
78. Okay, so see, this is it. This is what I'm saying. This hits. This hit everybody's sensibilities. Like I was reading, there were theaters that refused to show this when word got out from like the bigger markets about like some of the content involved. So this was considered horrifying back in the day. This scene here, like, I don't know if I could watch this. This is confirmed as being a real picture from what I heard. This isn't something that somebody doctored up. It looks too sharp to me, but I've been told this is legit and from a cut scene. And I'm like, dude, thank God they fucking took that out. Like, I'm not trying to watch that. Like, it's too much. You know, like my sensibilities, I'm comfortable with being like, I got some limits now. You know, I'm not here for that. You couldn't pay me to sit in there for that picture. No shot. No shot. There's no number. There's no number. Unless that thing was on the driveway at Universal, like out of the water, like there's just no shot I could do it.
Yeah, that's Steven Spielberg right there. That's how young he is. Look at those striped socks back in 75.
The double collar tri-stripe. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He got some blue and yellow right there, probably. Classic. Jaws is a hell of a ride, though, man. And you know what I love most about the story is how everybody does the logical thing. There are no bad decisions made, except the mayor. And again, like that was a choice. It wasn't like something he did that was stupid.
There was one bad decision. That was the coroner who decided to change the report.
Oh yeah.
What the mayor told him.
But again, scumbag and a leftover from the mob arc from the book where like there was pressure put on people to like cover shit up. I mean, like plot contrivancy kind of things. You know what I mean? Like the first shark that they catch isn't the right shark. You know what I mean? So like obviously because then the movie hypothetically ends anyway, but like there's that aspect, like, oh crap, now we got to go do something else. So Hooper wants to go out and look around during the shark's feeding period. They find the sunk boat, which is actually where the third victim thing in the trivia comes up. Brody's got a line where he's like, we've had 2 deaths already. And like, by the time he says that in the movie, he's already found the boat. The girl's already been eaten and the kid already died on the raft. So that was like, that was in a reshoot is what I was reading there. But the guy that gets eaten in the pond loses his leg. There's no shot he survived. So, you know, that should have probably been 4, I think. That should have been 4 because that was the same day as the pond when his son was in the water and got all
because he was in the way, and so it was because he was eating him is the reason why the shark went away and the boys got out.
Yeah, that's the kid that went on to be a marine biologist, by the way, in part 3 and 4. Yeah. Okay. That's what happened.
Hmm.
But I just love how it just works itself out through that like logical progression. The tent pole scenes are all there. Like the kid on the raft. I always in my head thought that was like the halfway point of the movie. Dude, that's like minute
No.
16.
Yeah.
Like that is like here, right? The bit where they decide to get on the boat comes just after the halfway point. And then the second half of the movie, almost in total, is them on the boat.
The three of them on the boat carrying the rest of the
guys.
movie.
Yes. Yep. Like, and I just never remember it like that in my head because it's been a while. It's always more of there's a lead up into nobody believing it's a shark. And I'm like, no. They were all Johnny on the spot, but there was a shark attack like 15 minutes into this movie because the beach was in broad daylight when the kid got eaten. The whole town was there. So I kind of misremembered it, but
and then they had the fake shark attack that led to the pond attack because the kids.
Oh, the kids.
Yeah.
He made me do it. He talked me into it. Like, dude, you almost took an M1 Garand bullet to the face for this little hoax. You know what I mean? It was fun seeing the M1 in there too. I did enjoy that. But again, it's 1975. A lot of these guys retired out of the army or whatever, and that these were the guns that
fought
they had.
in World
They
War II.
Brought home, right? Fought in World War II and brought them home.
There were still people in Vietnam at that time.
Yep.
Korean Wars already passed as well. That was in the 50s.
Let's just talk a little bit about like the iconic nature of the movie and like what it means to everything else. Quotability, merchandise, parodies. I mean, every effing shark movie on the planet takes something from Jaws at this point, really, whether it's the scumbag mayor, whether it's the down on their luck marine biologist who like is an alcoholic now after the divorce or something like that. Like there's all of these things that just get recycled through. But I mean, people still quote this daily. You're going to need a bigger boat. It's probably one of the most quoted things on the planet. You can't walk by. Like I just went up to our local beach up there last weekend. There's that local beach's name with like the Jaws logo coming up to eat the girl. You know what I mean? Like the classic poster. Like it's still everywhere, dude. 50 years. 50. That's
right. 50 years.
It's nuts. It's nuts how, but it doesn't just go to show, man, that some things when put together with like love, care, and attention stand the test of time. You can see the professionalism behind it. Everything works. It holds up. Dude, there's not even any really ratty dialogue in this movie where I'm like, this sounds like it's 50 years old.
No,
like, not really.
It definitely wasn't aged, other than the looks, the feel of it. That's the only thing that really put an age to it. The dialogue wasn't. And I think one of the best ones was when he was yelling at his, like after the first shark attack, and he still believes it's a shark attack.
Yeah.
Before they had the second attack in front of broad daylight, and they got the boat for his boy, and he's sitting there, and he's like, "Get out of the boat! Get off the water!"
Yeah.
And then. And he's like, "Come on, it's his birthday tomorrow." And then she's looking through the book, and it's right in the book. She's like,
"Who hurt your dad?
Get out of the boat!"
That's what I mean, dude. It legit had a couple of comic beats like that, and but it doesn't do the undermining thing that I bitch about all the time. No, I mean, not that scene happened at a particular low point or anything like that. You know what I mean? But like there's another one, like when Dreyfuss's character arrives on the island and everybody's going crazy because they want to go out on the water and earn the bounty. Like it comes right after the town hall scene. He's got his backpack on. He's just getting off his ferry coming in or his boat that he just docked. And there's a bunch of yokels in the background trying to get out. And Brody's like, yeah, can you just go tell those guys to come in? And he's like, hey guys, the officer said don't go out. And they're like, what do you care? You're not going out. And he's like, whatever. Can anybody tell me where I can go get something to eat? And like just walk straight ahead.
Yeah, and he's like, they're gonna die.
They're all gonna die. Dude, that's what I mean. Like he's just walking away. They're all gonna die. That's funny stuff. And I love that. That's funny stuff that's interjected that doesn't interrupt any of the story. You know what I mean? It doesn't get in the way of what's going on for Brody, how he's freaking out. It's him and one deputy. They're getting overrun by out-of-towners that are down because of the news story that's starting to get out, and people have put word of mouth out for the money.
Yeah. And that was right after that was the 4th of July one, wasn't it? No, that was
No, Ginter was still ahead of it, and the response to that would have crippled the town for closing the beaches on the 4th.
Yep. Yeah, that was the right before the 4th. That was like 4th. Right. The 4th of July is tomorrow.
Right. It's like slab. They will.
They close the beach for 24 hours after that attack.
See, and even a small scene like that where Brody's the chief of police. This is his first summer on the job. They do really quick world building. All you need really. He's new. He's from New York. He used to be a beat cop or whatever, because he has that drunken scene where he's like, I've seen some shit up there, and But down here, nobody gets killed. Everything's fine. When he sees the first attack victim, cop brain's already on. He's like, oh shit, it's fucking shark attack. Like there's like a half a body. It's not a boat. It's not a boat. Like the Titanic didn't hit this girl. Like she got ripped in half, right?
Yeah. And then the coroner gave him the proper thing.
Right. And he typed it in on the death certificate. He's like, shark attack, right? When he's going out on, he's taking the ferry across or over to go, I think it was to get the Boy Scouts out of the water on their mile swim or whatever. But the mayor and the board of selectmen or whatever they are catch up to him in their car and get the car on the ferry. And they're like, hey, Martin, so you're going to close the beach on your own authority? And he's like, the fuck other authority do I need? It's a safety thing. And then the one guy's, oh, well, technically you need a city ordinance signed by at least 3. And the mayor's like, nah, shut up. Shut up for a minute. We just got to sort this
That's
shit
how
out.
hard it is on the technical side.
Right.
But let me talk to you over here.
Let me holler at. That's what I'm talking about. I like that. I like that stuff because there's no grandstanding. No one's screaming in each other's faces. If that movie's made today, it's two people acting like total histrionic messes to get each of their sides across. This was just two dudes.
Either you get on board or you'll be on the next ferry out of town.
You'll be back in New York by tomorrow. Exactly that. Or Brody doing the tough guy thing. Because that's the thing. Brody's not a tough guy at all. He's kind of a chicken shit in a lot of different scenarios until the end. You know, he's got to get drunk to go cut the fish open. He's got to get drunk to go on the boat. They even say it. He's like, oh, where are we going? And Hooper says, yeah, we got to go out and check out that boat. I'm not going on the boat. I'm not drunk enough to do that. He goes, yeah, you are. Come on. And then they go out.
Oh, we're going to go out to their feeding area. It was going out to the
that's right.
Area,
And
that's when they find the boat.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then even at the end, he goes out on this expedition with the zinc oxide on his nose. Like the dude looks like a dork. You know? Like the one scene where the shark's making its passes, he finally pulls the police revolver out of the bag and he's capping off on it like he's gonna do something. That was funny.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, he put the strychnine in the bullets for part 2, but it wasn't a part 1 situation. But there was just a couple of technical things I wanted to just point out to you, get your thoughts on. Just even as we've talked about story and character and dialogue all holding up, there was some really clever visuals that came into this movie too. One of them is that iconic zoom shot when the kid gets chomped on the raft and it kind of zooms in on Brody, but it pushes the background away. I know there's a word for that, but like that shot is like Trinity Matrix jump up and spin kick thing. Like it's legendary. Like I don't think it had ever been done or something on camera. They invented that technique or something, but that's an iconic shot. There are some other subtle ones too. When Brody's kid almost gets attacked in the pond, Brody gets his kid up on the beach. Shit's all calming down. He looks up and he's looking after the shark. His POV goes between the legs of the pier as it goes into the ocean. Like he's literally looking at the door of no return. Like for that part, like he's literally following it after. And when he's getting on the boat, when Ellen's wife is down, when Ellen Brody's there on the dock, sending him off before she runs away, we see the ship pulling out, the Orca pulling out, and we see it basically through the camera's POV through a set of shark jaws mounted on Quint's window. So it's like literally they're like going into the shark's mouth, and I'm like, touches, dude, little touches, man. It makes all the difference.
Yeah,
all the difference, man. I love stuff like that. And, intentional because it had to somebody had to put the camera there, right? So somebody had to think enough to do that, and I love that stuff. That's why this movie holds up. And as much as I like watching D movies like Sharknado 3, I don't remember a damn thing about that. Not a thing. I remember Deep Blue Sea because it was funny.
See, those type of movies are the ones you turn on when you just want to have something in the background while you do something else.
Folding laundry. Yep. Folding laundry, dude.
This type of movie is like you make lunch and you're watching it while you're eating, or you're just trying to chill on the couch and
exactly what I do. I had a cold one, made a sandwich, had a bowl, had some chips and dip right next to it. I got up off the couch not one time. No pauses, no checking my phone. I told everybody upstairs, listen, I got to watch this for something we're doing later. I'd like to get the full, the full re-experience of it. And I'm glad that I'm definitely glad that this is the first one, the official entry of retro review,
retro watch,
rewind,
retro watch,
retro watch. One word.
Yeah, it could be one word. It could be 2 words. It could be hyphenated.
Get legal on that. We should probably copyright that if we can do that. Yeah, dude. I don't even know if we can bring up the barbecue rating on this because it might be a Winter Wolf's Den first. It's a perfect film. I don't even think I need it. Like, you can bring it up for you if you had a.
There are a
nice-
few
nice
perfect
summer.
films out there. I have 2 that I believe are perfect films.
I think this one might be one of them for me. What are your 2, just for reference?
Nope, we're gonna do that on another.
Oh, hey, he's holding on to him. Okay,
That's right. That means you're gonna have to hit that subscribe and like button, hit that notification bell, so you can find out what episode I'm gonna drop those in.
Interesting. And of course, let us know in the comments below, guys. Folks picked up a couple of things on Lost Boys that were very helpful in clarifying some of the stuff for us. We do appreciate that. If you were old enough to see Jaws in the theater, I'd love to hear from you. That would be a very interesting tale to be told, and I'd love to hear it in the comments. If you've never seen Jaws before, if you're one of our younger viewers, we do have a few. Kingsley was informing me based on our demographic analytical breakdown. Go check this out. It's on Peacock right now. It's the 50th anniversary, so all 4 movies are there. I recommend watching 1 and 2 and then stopping, unless you're a glutton for camp punishment. Then you can watch 3 and 4, but you won't be disappointed with 1 and 2. 2 is almost as good in my opinion. It really is. I enjoy the hell out of 2 every time I watch it. They do a lot of different
young
things.
Dennis Quaid in it, correct?
That was 3. He's actually the older brother. He's the marine biologist brother, actually.
Oh, okay.
That one also has Louis Gossett Jr.
Okay.
As
it's been a while since I've seen all of them.
He's the president of SeaWorld or whatever they call it down there where the movie takes place.
Okay.
Ocean World or whatever it is. Cool. But all right, I'm going to leave it easy to get us
drop in something that you want to see us talk about here in Retro Watch. This is going to become more of a more common thing on our channel. Video drops. We'll probably figure out a schedule for it here soon to have it like more consistent so you know when the new retro drops are coming. So yeah, just leave us a comment. We'll probably hit it up. We got a list of 50 right now. So
yeah, we do.
We're kind of fun.
Get us out of here, dude. I'm out. We got to go do other things. We need a bigger boat.
Okay, that works. Oh, you want me to just go ahead and end it?